Hello and welcome to another edition of 10 for 10, a packed edition of 10 for 10. 10 sports topics of the News 10 Sports team. I am Sports Director Griffin Haas, and look who we have today. Tommy Valentine.
Good to be back again.
Sports anchor, reporter, and we have a lot to get to. We will start with the biggest news of the week. Siena finally has a head coach. It was an extensive search. It took a little bit of time, but they got it done before the transfer portal opens. Nevada Smith. Now, before we get to Nevada Smith and his credentials, there seems to be a schism, a debate about the pronunciation of his first name. And it's much like the state. Some people say Nevada. Some people say Nevada. Where do you land?
I'm a Nevada guy, I think.
Nevada. I'm also a Nevada guy. We're going to have to ask him. We're going to have to ask him, how does he say it? Because whatever he says is right. We have not had that opportunity. So for now, he's Nevada. He could be Nevada in the future. We'll cross that bridge when we get
He could be Nevada in this show. I may accidentally say Nevada. I don't know.
We might go back and forth.
I feel like it's one of those things where you just kind of go back and forth on.
I might mix in a Nevada here once in a while just to make sure that we're right. Nevada, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But Nevada Smith, the new head coach of the Siena men's basketball team. And I think that there were a lot of bigger names that were thrown around during this search. Obviously, you had the Mike Hopkins thing, which he was targeted, and then there were reports he was going to be the head coach. That was not the case. There were, John Becker was involved, the head coach of Vermont. Early on, Bobby Hurley's name was thrown in the mix. Fran McCaffrey, of course, the former Siena coach. Yep. So there were some big names that were thrown in the mix, along with, the likes of, Ben Lee, an assistant at Siena. And Nevada Smith was one that kind of emerged later, and I never heard of Nevada Smith until his name came up.
Yeah.
And I've learned a lot about Nevada Smith over the last couple of days, and I think that what I found is the more I've looked into it, the more there is to like, in my opinion, about him. And the more I hear people who know basketball better than I do and what they have to say about him, I like it even more. So I guess we can go through his credentials first.
It's an intriguing resume.
It's a different resume, and he's been, up and down throughout the ranks. And I think it will show as we go through this that this is a guy who is a grinder and has not
put in his time,
has earned everything. He was an assistant at St. Lawrence from 2002 to 2004, head coach at SUNY Canton. These are Division III schools. Then Allegheny, he was an assistant. He was an assistant at Ithaca College, Roll Bombers,
Shout out Ithaca.
2006 to 2011. I missed him by 2 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went there in 2013, graduated in 2017. Shout out class of 17. I had to make sure that was right. Yeah, that's right. Keystone College, D3 head coach, 2011 to 2013. Then he becomes the head coach of the Rio Grande Valley Vipers.
What a jump.
The Houston Rockets affiliate, the G League affiliate. And this is actually interesting. I'm going to take a quick pause. I'll probably get back to this in a little bit later too. But I spoke with Jim Driggs today, who is the Albany Academy head coach, the men's basketball coach. He was an assistant at Rochester when Nevada Smith was at Ithaca, and they played each other. And then Driggs became the head coach at Allegheny. So they've had similar stops, and they've become friends over the last 20 nearly 20 years. So they've now, Driggs says he leans on him for a lot of advice basketball wise. So they have a close relationship. Driggs told me that Daryl Morey, who was the GM of the Houston Rockets at the time, basically hired Nevada Smith without interviewing him or meeting him in person. They had a phone call, and it was purely based off analytics and the numbers and the space and pace and space, which I'll get to in a little bit. Then he was the head coach of the Miami Heat G League affiliate, Sioux Falls Skyforce. And
great name.
And then became an assistant. We went to Texas with Shaka Smart, was the director of their program development, before following Shaka Smart to Marquette, where he's been an assistant coach for the last 5 years. So this guy has D3 head coaching experience, professional head coaching experience, and experience as a D1 assistant, which I think having that varied experience helps because you can relate. One, you can prove, hey, I've done the dirty work to get here with the D3 stuff, have had head coaching experience. You know what professional organizations are like, working within them. That helps for younger guys who want to become pros one day and want to know what that is like.
I've seen how guys have gotten there. You can use that as, as a big-time sales pitch.
And then has also had the major D1 experience as well. And he's been credited as a mentor to one guy I know you're a huge fan of, Tyler Kolek.
Shout out.
Because he's worked with the guards at Marquette. So if you look at the guards at Marquette, Tyler Kolek and Cam Jones are both in the NBA. And I know Cam Jones also approves because Cam Jones tweeted Nevada Smith's hiring announcement with the GOAT symbol. So that's an endorsement. So those are two very good players. So those are ringing endorsements there. So I think that's intriguing. I also think just, again, talking to Driggs and also just reading about Nevada Smith, I think two things that came up, one, he's a great teacher of the game with guys like Kolek and that. But the other one, the big one, is he's an innovator. And from what Driggs was saying, and there's articles on Grantland in 2014 about Nevada Smith and how he was ahead of the curve with pace and space, and basically started in 2008 when Driggs and Nevada Smith went against each other at Ithaca and Rochester. Ithaca shot 32 threes in 2008. Driggs was like, it was unheard of. Like, I checked the box score this morning. I saw it, 32 threes. He's ahead of that curve. He was ahead of, certain curves. Driggs knows basketball better than I do with certain picks and transitions, stuff like that. He just seems like a very sharp offensive mind, and he's basically run the offense at all of his stops. So Marquette, he was running the offense.
Marquette, they were top 100 in the country in scoring each of the first 3 seasons that he and Shaka were there. Right. So, they can score.
And they had a down year this past year, but that seemed to be more of a personnel problem. And, there are guys entering the portal. It didn't seem like a coaching problem. They went to the tournament for the 5 years that they were there. So... they had success. I think that it's intriguing from that standpoint. I also think it's intriguing from the standpoint of he's listed his residence as Saratoga. He's a huge fan of the racetrack. He's lived in Saratoga during summers and come here out. He's worked out City Rocks players for City Rocks and gone and helped out there. So he has a knowledge of the area, and he had referred to wanting to get a job near Saratoga and Siena. I think I saw someone say that it was like his dream job to be the head coach of Siena. So when you have something where, a program where usually if you have success, you leave. You just saw it with Jerry. No, we'll get to Jerry in a second. That's obviously a different case and a special case. You want a guy who loves the area and wants to be here, and this is a job that he really wants. And I think Jerry wanted to be here too. I'm not saying that as a slight to him. I think that he would have, if it wasn't the Syracuse job, I think he'd still be the head coach of Siena. So not saying that, but when this job can be a stepping stool for, so to speak, at times, I think it helps to have somebody who really wants to be here. So we're still learning about him, but I think that he checks a lot of boxes, and it's a little bit outside of the box rather than getting a guy who has proven head coaching experience at this level.
Sure.
But I think that's sometimes you got to go outside of the box a little bit in a world where things are changing in college basketball, especially for mid-majors all the time.
And it sounds like he's going to bring a pretty exciting, fast-paced product to Siena. And at the very least, when you've had so much excitement like this program has had the last 2 seasons, at least you can keep that level of high flying, fast paced. It's an easily sellable product that they're going to be putting on the floor.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And one of the other things that I thought was really cool to see, and to build off that point, is Eric Spoelstra. The head coach of the Miami Heat.
As good a mind as there is in basketball.
Yeah, 2-time NBA champion as a head coach and one as an assistant as well. He said, that Siena fans are going to, love the brand of basketball that he plays. I have a quote from him here. shout out to Tim Reynolds of the AP for asking this question. He's got Capital Region ties. He's covering the Heat down there, and he asked Spoelstra about this. He said, we were really rooting for this opportunity. He could have been a head coach probably at a different school, a different level the last few years. He has a great, innovative coaching mind, and I think his experience with Shaka Smart the last several years has really taken his acumen and understanding of everything at the big-time level to an even different level than he was before. I think it's a great fit. I think it's going to be an exciting brand of basketball. Siena fans will love the style of basketball that he coaches, and the players will love it as well. Really thrilled for him. So to hear, first of all, to hear Eric Spoelstra talking about Siena is cool. And then to hear him, that complimentary of him. I was also told that high-ranking members of the Miami Heat front office and their organization called Siena to lobby on Smith's behalf. Yeah. So that says a lot about what the Heat think of him.
And not for nothing, when you're a coach with Shaka Smart, somebody who's had his own kind of paved his own path in the kind of the defensive component of the game with the havoc defense, forcing turnovers. He's not just an offensive guy, I'm sure. He's learned stuff on the defensive end from Shaka, who's one of the best defensive minds in college basketball. So you take kind of both elements of that to turn him into what could be a very well-rounded head coach.
For sure. I think that has definitely helped, and just to see it also, again, because he hadn't been at the major D1 level. He'd been at D3 and then the G League, but to get that experience of how it works there. And, there's a lot more than just basketball now, as we all know. And a big part of this is going to be resources. And that's where we get to the more Siena part of it. It's the same case with Jerry and the same case with Nevada and any coach in college basketball. Obviously, proportionate to the level that you're at, you need resources, you need support to be able to succeed. Mm-hmm. And I think, without any direct inside knowledge, I think there are a lot of people who are kind of ignited by what just happened at Siena and the run that they went on. And I think the Siena fan base is invigorated. And I think that the donor base will be there. I mean, Adam Weitzman has talked about still
sticking around,
potentially being a donor to Siena, who, helped take care of Gavin Doty. And, I think that Siena has always been a great mid-major job because they have, a lot to offer, and now in this new NIL world, it's in terms of resources. So I think they're going to be able to compete with. You just have to compete against the mid majors. You're never going to compete with the big boys, obviously, but you compete against the mid majors. I think that they're going to be right up there in the MAC in terms of resources, and as long as he brings in the right guys, you can find success. I also think when you look at this Siena team, people are obviously rightfully so to a degree, kind of freaking out about. Oh, everyone's leaving, and I want to shout out, I don't know who it was, and I'm not going to say their name even if I did. I want to shout out one of the worst Instagram comments I've ever seen on one of our posts. And it said that Jerry McNamara ruined Siena.
I did see that.
That was the worst.
Probably one of the worst takes of all time.
If you watch News 10, thank you, but that is one of the worst takes I've ever seen in my life. Because Jerry McNamara took and we'll get to him again in a second, a 4-win Siena team and turned them into a champion. So if you think that Jerry McNamara ruined Siena, I mean, that is as preposterous
one of the takes of all time
as I've ever heard. And my point about bringing that up is Nevada Smith, whatever you think about this situation, is inheriting a far better situation than Jerry McNamara.
Absolutely.
The cupboard was bare. I heard Jerry say at his opening press conference about Syracuse, the cupboard's not bare at Syracuse. The cupboard was bare at Siena when he took over Siena. I mean, there was not a lot of talent on that roster, and really the only meaningful player that stuck around was Brendan Coyle, which was a great guy to have, and he was a more understated part of the prior regime.
Yeah,
he
didn't get much experience.
Yeah, he was not like he was a standout that stayed. It was no, that was kind of a diamond in the rough situation that Jerry
fostered.
Yeah, so
turned him into the shooter that he is.
There was nothing there, and he found Doty and all these other guys. So if you're Nevada Smith, you're walking into a situation where, yes, Gavin Doty is in the portal. We're going to talk about Francis Folafak later, but he is going to enter the portal. Justice Schultz, no eligibility. Riley Mulvey, no eligibility. So now you look at the roster, and I'm kind of dipping in and out of Jerry Siena. But Jerry said it in his presser in a question that I asked him. He said, I think that they have enough there with the players capable of being retained to win right away. And if you look at it, Brendan Coyle still has another year.
Yep.
Christian Jones is a good player, a freshman. Isaiah Henderson was a good player for them.
Yep.
Reed Ducharme entered the portal, but
Taz gets healthy.
If Taz gets healthy and he wants to stay, Owen Schlager,
He was really promising. Got hurt.
So I don't know. Maybe he wants to stay. Any of these guys get out of the portal, so we don't know. But there's enough there if you can retain even part of that, if he wants to retain part of that.
Sure.
And then you add through the portal, which is obvious. Now the part that hurts is they're all 4 of their freshman class decommitted.
Yep.
But that's going to happen when you get a new. It's just is what it is. That's not always better or worse than when Jerry. That's just a reality of college basketball.
That's exactly what Jerry did. When he had to come in and he had to overhaul the recruiting classes, and he got great freshmen in.
And he did find, he found a guy named Gavin Doty, and it worked out for him.
I'd say so.
Yeah. So he'll find other guys. There are probably guys that were interested in Marquette that he's got connections. That's the other thing that helps. He has connections with City Rocks, and he has connections with, in the Northeast and with, at all levels, NBA, whatever. He's got connections. So he'll be able to put together, find players. He'll be able to do that. But this is not as bad. It's always going to be difficult when you're bringing in a new head coach. It's never going to be an easy situation. But you know what? This is the reality of mid-majors in general. Look across the street at UAlbany. They, to no fault of their own, they are also in, a really tough spot because Amir Lindsey's leaving. And each year, people are going to leave and people are going to come and go. That's just the reality.
That's mid-major basketball now. You have really good seasons. You have really good players. They're likely going to leave.
And there was some complaint about it took a while. And it did. I think it took longer than they wanted to and allowed things that weren't based necessarily squarely in reality to get out there. And it got away from them a little bit in terms of the rumor mill that was spinning around. So that was not great, but the transfer portal opens next week. He might be introduced after it opens, but he's going to be the head coach of Siena when this portal opens. Yeah. They're going to be prepared. He knows I can guarantee you that he was thinking about guys that he wants to target and all that stuff. And guess what? Just like everyone says, oh, this guy's going to just follow Jerry to Syracuse. There are 3 Marquette guards right now who are in the transfer portal who might be looking to go down to a mid-major and play more. So he could easily bring guys in there. It works both ways. So it's going to be very interesting. I'm looking forward to hearing from him and being able to talk to him. Talking to Coach Driggs today, he had nothing but great things to say about the person that he is, and the teacher that he is, and all of that stuff. So, whenever these hires happen, you can say great hire, bad hire, in between. You don't really know until it starts.
Way too early to tell.
Way too early. But I do think it's an intriguing hire, and I think it's a high ceiling hire where if it works out, and this is someone who really wants to be here and wants to stay and has a vision for, being here for a number of years, it could be something special. And obviously, not saying it won't, it could not work out. We don't know. These are just our baseline. It's
the beauty of basketball.
Of sports. We are just getting to know Nevada Smith here. And I think that pretty much, he played at Bethany College. He's been in Pennsylvania. So scored 1,000 points scorer in college, 1,200 points. So shout out. Nevada Smith is supposed to be introduced at a press conference next week. We have not gotten the details on that yet. But when we do, we will bring them to you. But for now, we'll go on to the former head coach of the Siena men's basketball team, Jerry McNamara. He was introduced at his alma mater as the head coach. And if there's anybody who faulted Jerry McNamara for taking the job before, which would be silly in my opinion, because again, if you're a Siena fan, he did what you wanted to do, and his alma mater the job comes open, and he has an awesome opportunity. He's going to take it. If you did fault him, you can't anymore, because I made the trek out to Syracuse for the press conference with Brian Rudman. Nice road trip for the boys.
Great trip. I do that one all the time.
Just guys being dudes. Some rock and roll. Editing on the way back. There was no rock and roll. But I've never seen anything like that in terms of a press conference.
They do it big at the Dome and in Syracuse.
Yeah.
They don't mess around.
And that Merion Victory Court is new, I think, within the last year or so. And they had 2,000 people there. I mean, it was, and it is because it's Syracuse, but it's also because it's Jerry.
It's Jerry.
I talked to, this is no slight to him, I talked to somebody else who was there for Adrian Autry's. They were like, it was not like this. I'm sure it was a great press conference.
Yeah.
This was crazy. This was a pep rally. I mean, they had the band going.
G-Mac's different in Syracuse. I mean, that guy is.
He had the band going.
Beloved.
They had 2,000 people, and a lot of media presence. It was. If you were ever if you were wondering as a Siena fan, like, oh, why did he do it? Like, he should have just stayed here. It's like, that's why, because it means more to him.
His home,
and he means more there.
Yeah.
As much as he will mean a lot to Siena for a while. It was different. And man, they had different cut-ups than Mike Tirico, Ian and Noah Eagle did videos. Some former players did videos. They took some of Melo's podcast. They were kind of they had that highlight package of him again. That hit hard. So there was a lot of cool moments. They were passing out McNamara era shirts, which was familiar. They weren't passing out shirts at Siena's press conference, but that was the same thing that they use as well. And he crushed it. I mean, he always does. I mean, listen, I don't think that we could say we're big Jerry fans here at this point. I mean,
if that man's on a big stage, he's going to deliver.
It's what he does. It's what he does. And again, we've talked about it before, but he's also just like, he's not, there are people who win the press conference by like being in, like not themselves. They go up and be rah, but then like it comes time to like actually like do it. And it's like, that's not
where
really
is
who
this
they
guy?
are. It's like, that is how he is. Like, he's the same guy. I've said it before about him being on camera, off camera. He's the same guy. That's how he is. He was awesome up there. He won the press conference, so to speak. And I think that he kind of leans into the fact that I think he knows that his, you know why I'm here. I'm here to win was big at Siena.
Yeah.
Because we've shared that a bunch of times, and it gets social media play for sure. And it's gone. It went pretty viral once he won the MAC championship, and we put that out again and said, promises delivered. And he did that again, but the way that he did it, you could tell that like there were probably some fans who didn't get it, and I think that there were even like just Syracuse media members, they just weren't there for the Siena one, who didn't really understand it. But he was kind of like, you know why I'm here, and he waited, and he was like,
remember this?
And he did the same thing, and he did it with even more vigor. And I was like, oh, this is electric. This is a tip of the hat to his Siena press conference as well. But he also said, like, the reality, like, there's a lot of work to do, and there is. They've got a staff to fill out, which I think they already have. They're just going through the process. Who are they going to keep? All of that. We'll be covering Syracuse, and we're interested in that. We're more focused on, obviously, the Siena ramifications. And I think what he said about Siena was pretty awesome. And not only what he said, but he started with Siena. Like, he started talking about, after, like, brief remarks, he started talking about Siena and said that, they believed in him. They gave him an opportunity. But also the Capital Region. They said the Capital Region welcomed our family. The biggest fear for us leaving here is finding schools for our kids. CBA Albany takes care of our oldest, St. Pius. Their church and parish takes care of the three other ones. For the kids I coached, how connected they were. Talked about them, and talked about that what they built was, they're going to be linked for forever.
Yeah.
Again, it is a genuine appreciation of the area of Siena. He named a bunch of people by name, like Chuck Seifert, our guy Mike Demos. He gave Mike Demos a shout out. John D'Argenio. He went through a whole list of people. And again, that shows you can't fake that kind of genuine, in my opinion, because you see a lot of press conferences of guys who just are moving from job to job to take another job. And, like, it's not always like that.
Yeah. You could tell the prior stop didn't mean as much to them.
Yeah. And I'll give an example that, like, Brian Hodgson, who Siena could have, or not Siena, Syracuse was also potentially looking into, took the Providence job, and he was like, at their like prep rally press conference, and he was like, "Oh, I was playing a championship game last week, and there's more people here than there were at that game." And it's like, that's kind of like, you like that's kind of a low blow to USF.
Big,
like, yeah, and it's like, do you need to go there? And it just shows that for him, that was a stop. It was just, that was another rung on the ladder. Meanwhile, Jerry's genuinely showing that Siena meant something to him, and he loves it, and he loves the area. And he didn't have to do that. If he didn't talk, if he just said, thanks to Siena, we built Disneyland really special and moved on. But to like get in the schools and like all that stuff, that's the stuff that I appreciate about him. And that was cool to see. And, obviously the rest of the stuff is kind of Syracuse based, so we won't get like as into that because there's a ton there and the staff and all of that. The last thing I'll just say is I did get to, ask him a question during the press conference portion. And again, you can see how much he cares about Siena, because I asked him how satisfied he was with what he accomplished at Siena. And he was like, I'm not really that satisfied with year one.
Of course, still beating himself up about that.
And then he had like this smirk on his face, and like, because he knew that, like, I think also that like me and him were probably the only people that like knew what he's talking about. But he's like, you remember year one? We lost. He's like, you lost all those close games and like blah blah blah. He's still thinking about year one.
Of course,
and like he's
a gamer,
the competitor he is. And then he talked about how he was satisfied with year two, how they battled through adversity, and that Siena fans got to experience March again and like enjoy March and what it has to offer. And then he was talking about, he's like, the first thing on my mind after I took this job is like, for Siena, please get it right. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I love it there. He's like, he said to me, he was like, you covered it. Like, I love it. And you can, like, he doesn't just say that, like, he's always showed his love and appreciation for Siena, which is nice. Loves the people. I'm confident that they have guys that are capable of winning, like I said. But he did say, he's like, now the problem is when you take a few weeks in terms of recruitment, some of the guys get antsy, they decommit and that kind of thing. But he's like, I want the program to go in the right direction because I feel like I really wanted it to be stabilized, and they got exactly what they were looking for, which is back to where they needed to be. Someone else steps in and gets it going. Again, I don't think Brian Hodgson or any of these other, not just to rag on Brian Hodgson, but like, I don't think that they're
Will
like,
Wade's of the world.
Oh, man, like, how is that? Yeah, Will Wade's like, how is NC State going to be?
Exactly.
And like, Jerry also had said in a prior interview with Syracuse Athletics that like he was going back and forth for a while because he was trying to help Siena transition and help them out. And again, that is appreciated because, again, no one has to do that. He could split down and be gone.
And he will genuinely want Siena to do well this season.
100%. And for the future, because I definitely think that he said, like, yeah, I wouldn't have just come back I wasn't ready to just like leave Siena. Like, I would have only, and they let their kids decide where to go. So you could tell if it's that much of a decision when it's Syracuse, like how much he's appreciated this area. We've appreciated him, and that's pretty much it from his presser. But from the Siena side of it, that puts a bow on the GMAC era. And I will say, we still will be covering. It's funny because there's a little peek behind the curtain. Also, shout out Juliana Bruno behind the curtain. Watch on the WTEN Plus app. Shameless plug. But like, we don't really cover Syracuse a lot because they haven't been very good.
Yeah.
And when they're good, we have fans in this region that are Syracuse fans. So like, when they're good, it's something that we can cover.
Yep.
Now with Jerry, possibly some guys from Siena coming with him, we will be covering along the way. Just obviously not as intently. We wish Jerry the best.
No doubt.
At least I do.
I do.
Okay.
I want that guy to succeed.
We're going to wrap up on this kind of topic just quickly by mentioning a guy who could be on his way to Syracuse, potentially. Do think he'll have a lot of options. Francis Folafak. Entered the transfer portal. Not surprising. I mean, unless Jerry stayed, I don't think there's any way he's going to stay because he's a major D1 player. Like,
without question. He proved that. He played his best games against major.
Yeah, and like you look at it, it's like 11 points, 5 rebounds, and One, because it is a little bit of hyperbole and also just sounds good. I wrote in one of my tweets, freshman phenom, and someone tweeted at me. It was like, I think phenom's a stretch. It's a bit of hyperbole. It's like, all right,
it's not.
Relax.
If you actually watched him,
I was like, relax, fella. And shout out Cap. That's what he would always say. Relax, fella. But I wanted to, he's like, you want it to be back. I was like, it's not worth it. But it's like, if you watch the games, you know how much talent he has. Mm-hmm. And that if you watch the Duke game, you saw him put up 18 points on camera and guard Cameron Boozer. Better than probably anyone's guarded him in the tournament.
Yeah.
Obviously, they just lost, but he still got it.
Still had 20-something points that game, yeah.
And also because he scored 19 points against Indiana and was really their like main go-to guy at Indiana. Sure, he's 6'7", he's a little undersized, but he's 245. He's athletic. He can guard 3 through 5.
Can shoot.
He's a really good player. He can shoot. Like I said before, everyone's going to immediately link him to Syracuse. I kind of hope he goes to Syracuse just because I'm all in for just like be the Siena Orange.
Keep
like,
those boys, keep those guys together.
Keep the guys together. Bring Doty, bring the group. Like just hang with the boys. But yeah, I think that he's no doubt gonna be financially compensated.
Yeah, he's gonna be garnering some pretty big numbers. By if it's not Syracuse, some other
talking money
major program.
So shout out Francis.
Great kid too.
Yeah, great kid. Wishing him all the best. Really, everyone on that team was a great kid.
Cool.
Everybody on that team was awesome, and we're gonna miss covering them. But new era, and we're excited for that as well. We're gonna speak of another end of an era after the break. Welcome back to 10 for 10. We just talked about Jerry McNamara leaving Siena. We have another departure. And I'll just say it right now. It's another one of the News 10 favorites. Colleen Mullen.
An all-timer.
Colleen Mullen leaving UAlbany women's basketball team, taking the head coaching job at Rhode Island. And, again, in a world where, these coaches use mid-majors primarily when you do well as kind of stepping stone programs. Colleen really didn't do that. She was at UAlbany for 8 years.
Yeah, put in her time.
And to be honest, I always thought like during some of her top years, like she could probably go and coach somewhere else. I have confidence that she could do that and would be offered other jobs. And she didn't. I also wonder if maybe this was the one that she had her eye on because she takes the job at Rhode Island, which is a great job. Their coach just left to coach Florida, so you could tell what kind of program this is. But she played at Rhode Island for 2 years before going to New Hampshire. So not where she ended her career, but where she began it. So now she goes back to Rhode Island. And a phenomenal tenure at UAlbany. 8 years, made the tournament once, but they were
always competitive.
Perennial, what is that? 4 20-win seasons. Last year was actually a down year for them, so she gets the job off a down year. But people know how great
she's established at this point.
Is. Yeah, and that team was a rebuilding project for sure. So UAlbany will be starting over from scratch, and no word yet on candidates or anything like that. I'm sure that they're going to want to get something going when the transfer portal opens as well, but. Colleen Mullen, good coach, in my opinion, better person.
Spectacular interview.
I love Colleen Mullen.
Yep.
I'll say it. She's great. She's awesome. She was really nice. She was always a great interview, but just similar but different to Jerry, like the same person off camera, and honestly, probably even more talkative off camera, and would again, these are coaches who have a lot going on. Colleen's someone who would you'd see and you'd tell. I remember I told her, I got a new apartment, and then I didn't see her for 3 months. She's like, "How's your apartment?" And I was like, Do you remember that?
What?
After that was months ago. You have a lot going on.
Beginning of practices, she'd come up to you, ask how your summer was. I'd see her early on in the season when we were just doing media days and media availabilities. She asked how my summer was, and she always just she's very invested, more than just basketball with her, just invested in how we're doing, and just a great person, like you mentioned.
You could tell. We actually have the pleasure. We have a lot of coaches that are pretty friendly right now. But not even saying that other coaches aren't friendly, but like sometimes it is working. It's business. It's hey, maybe a couple words before I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna do the interview. I'm gonna walk away. That's not Colleen Mullen. She'd come up to you, talk to you before, talk to you like during practice if you were around. Like, she was always willing to do live interviews right before games, like before playoff games. I interviewed her. She came to the studio for interviews, and always very thankful for coverage. Always thanking us for being there. I would see her at high school games. She'd come up and talk. So, nothing but positive things for me to say about Colleen Mullen.
Same here.
Both as a coach and as a person. And that commences the Colleen Mullen section of the show, I think. I think we basically covered it.
Yeah, we wish her
Shout
the
out
best.
Colleen. We wish her the best. And we will be sticking with you, Albany, to see where their next hire is. I think it's a good job, obviously.
It's been a stepping stone job, not stepping stone, but it's allowed coaches who've been there in the past have gotten great jobs from there.
Yeah, and also, this is a program that, had a down year this last year, but has been established as, a premier mid-major program that can contend in the America East. So, quickly, we'll just talk about back to the men's basketball real quick, the NCAA tournament. Final four.
Down to the wire.
We got UConn and Illinois, Michigan and Arizona. We won't get too far into it. Tommy, huge Illinois hater.
A huge Illinois hater.
Huge Illinois hater.
A team that's hasn't really delivered in the past.
You would say that they had choked.
On occasion, more than one occasion, yes.
Yes,
but Arizona has in the past. I've always been anti-Arizona, but now they're pretty much my lock for the national champion.
I tried to tell you that Illinois was different this year.
You did. And I tried to tell you that Florida wasn't it this year.
You did. And boy, they did not have
I didn't have them losing the round of 32, but.
No, I did not have them losing to Iowa. That was tough.
Yeah.
Their guards stunk. I think that the winner is probably going to be out of the Michigan-Arizona game.
That's going to be the game of the turn. I think that will be better than the eventual national championship. I think they'll be
good no matter what. I think they'll be good no matter what. I do think that Illinois and UConn can compete with either team.
Yeah.
But the Michigan and Arizona, I think, are the clear two best teams in the country. And now weird things can happen. That game could take a lot out of you, and then all of a sudden, the one thing you cannot rule out Danny Hurley.
You
can't. Man is
can't.
an absolute maniac.
Yep.
In the best possible way.
Yeah.
I mean that.
We willed that team
respect.
to victory last weekend.
They are not as talented as years past, and they're not as talented as they're the least talented team out of the four.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's
There's no high draft picks, I would say, on their team.
No,
it's
Illinois has them.
A lot of dogs.
Illinois has a guy sitting on their bench who's making like multiple $1 million.
Yeah.
Like, I forget his name, Petrovic or whatever. They brought him in to play point guard.
Yeah.
UConn obviously pays people too, but like they have Caravan who's been there for a while, but he's not like a superstar.
Yeah.
It is a true team, and they've bought into him. I will never rule him out. I love he headbutt the ref. That was so efficient. That was so awesome.
Everybody crying about it.
Yeah, just like relax.
It's like the ref didn't have a problem with it.
It was
Like,
awesome.
Come on. No, these are going to be great games this weekend.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You got any predictions?
I've got UConn and Arizona. I feel like it's tough to beat a team twice in the same year. That's what UConn would have to do to Illinois. But I can't bet against Danny Hurley in technically early April.
I'm leaning Michigan, but I don't love it. That's truly a toss-up for me.
Yeah.
And I would lean UConn, which does scare me a little bit. And this is just, it's just a little interesting that Illinois is favored by 1.5 as a 3 seed over a 2 seed with the reputation of UConn.
And they've been beating not just winning games.
Illinois.
They've been beating everybody, Illinois.
Their ceiling is massive.
Yes. If they're on, they've been playing great defense. I think that's the big thing. They can score on anybody, but they've been playing great defense.
Yeah, so I think that they're going to be electric games. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Saturday, taking a break. Welcome back to 10 for 10, talking NBA, the New York Knicks. We're not going to take too long because I've had it with the NBA regular season as a whole.
I haven't watched any NBA the last month.
I love the Knicks. I'm a huge Knicks fan. I just cannot care about the
especially
NBA
when March
regular
Madness is
season.
going on.
That too, and it's just like everything that needs to be established is established.
Yep.
It's like the top 4 seeds matter. Once you establish yourself halfway through the year, everyone else is tanking. And the only thing to play for in the NBA regular season is a chance to make it to the play-in. And no one wants to make the play-in because you'd be better off going into the lottery. It's a flawed system. We've got teams on the bottom tanking. You got the teams on the top, and then you have the teams in the middle who would rather be at the bottom. It's a flawed system in the NBA. They need to fix the regular season. Adam Silver, get on it. Stop meeting with TikTokers at All-Star Weekend and figure out a solution. Shout out Adam Silver.
What about the
Knicks,
in-season tournament?
What?
You love the in-season tournament.
Well, the in-season tournament became one of the most important events in the history of sports this past season.
It did.
Because
that's what I hear.
The Knicks won it. The banner did not get hung, but it's somewhere.
It's in the process.
The Knicks had rattled off. This is the portion of the show where I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wins in a row, and then lost 3 in a row, and they were gross losses.
That's a tough stretch, though.
The Hornets by 11.
Yeah, not great, but Hornets are a good team.
Whatever.
Thunder obviously, Rockets.
Rockets was not close ever.
No, that's a bad loss.
Josh Hart said that the Grizzlies game was a must-win, which, it's easy to say. You're playing the Grizzlies. But that just shows where they were at, that they needed to figure it out. So, play your best basketball going into the playoffs. Other than that, the NBA's regular season is meaningless. More after the break. All right, welcome back to 10 for 10. We're going to talk baseball quick. We went a little heavy at the top of the show, rightfully so. Had a lot to talk about, so we'll roll through. It's Arrowhead baseball season.
Yeah.
We'll start with the Mets, and I'm already frustrated with the Mets, and it's April 3rd now. Just not after the collapse that they had last year, you would like them to start a little bit more focused. And they've had lapses with Lindor on the base paths getting picked off. Forgetting how many outs there were. This fielding has been sloppy. They said they're going to focus on defense. It hasn't been great so far. Just an inauspicious start. And it's early. There are some things I'm not concerned about. Bo Bichette's slow start, not concerned. He's starting to hit the ball better. Yeah. He's a professional hitter. Things I am concerned about. Marcus Semien looks bad. 7 games, looks bad. First base, weird rotation with Polanco, Beatty, Vientos. That job's kind of wide open, whether Polanco will play first base, DH. He'll be in the lineup. He's a professional hitter. The bullpen. If I have to see Richard Lovelady one more time, I'm going to personally call Carlos Mendoza myself and have a word with him.
Yeah?
Yes.
I think that's warranted.
Richard Lovelady pitched in 3 of the first 4 games. He was their most used pitcher. He's not good. Here, let me tell you a little secret about Richard Lovelady. I'm just going to say, he stinks.
It's becoming less and less of a secret.
He stinks is the thing. And I like him. His fun name, Richard Lovelady. He's not good at baseball. So that worries me. Peralta's been great for the most part. He had a little bit of rocky start with the home runs, but he's been good. He looks good. I think Senga looked really good. Starters have been good for the most part. David Peterson was awful in his second start. It was really good his first start. I don't know if the bullpen is deep enough right now. And again, but really it's the hitting. I think that they will hit, but it just looks like the same, different guys, same thing. And in their losses, they've scored 2, 1-0, 3. And 3 was in 10 innings. They've gone to extra innings 3 times already.
It's crazy already.
They lost an extra inning game in the 11th inning, 2-1. Scored 1 run. It was a solo homer.
Should have been.
They went
2-run
0
homer.
for 25 at one stretch between Tuesday and Wednesday.
It's not good.
Not good. 7 games into the season. The Mets haters should not be doing victory laps. Tommy.
You turned me into this.
That's not true. We don't need to get into this. We don't have time. We can save that for 10 for 10, Tommy versus Griffin, which will be coming soon. Maybe. Unfiltered. But things to be concerned about. It's not a good start. It's not a fun start. Plenty of baseball left.
It's not a Yankee start.
It's not a Yankee start. We can get to the Yankees. Listen, just like it's early for the Mets, it's early for the Yankees. And listen,
I'm not getting too excited yet.
the Yankees have had a great start to the year.
Yep.
They're 5-1. Schlittler is amazing.
Phenomenal.
I'm
great man.
no Yankee. Listen, I'm an unbiased journalism when I'm out there at News 10, and I get excited for the Yankees as I do for the Mets. I'm not a big Yankee guy, to put it mildly.
Yeah,
jinx. Schlittler is awesome. Schlittler is great. Fried's obviously great. Their pitching has been their starting pitching
lights
has been,
out.
I think it's 0.7 ERA for their starters through their first 6 games.
Without arguably 2 of your best arms yet.
Are you talking about Rodon?
Rodon and Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole, yes. I'm not doing the Rodon thing with you. Rodon.
You don't have to. I mean, he was phenomenal last season. You don't have to, but he's one of our statistically
Phenomenal?
better arms. He was phenomenal last year.
Phenomenal.
I would say receiving Cy Young votes is pretty phenomenal.
What about in the playoffs? Oh, you can't
Not
do
phenomenal.
We
in the
can't do
playoffs.
Carlos
We can't
Rodon.
get
Carlos
wrapped up in
Rodon
that.
could be in the 10 for 10. We were looking for extra topics.
Rodon was
our arguments.
18-9 with a 3.09 ERA last year.
And then what happened?
Phenomenal.
And then what happened?
And then he was iffy in the postseason. Can't do that right now.
This is my point about the Yankees, and this is all I'll say. The Yankees can win 110 games.
That's my concern.
And it won't matter.
I know.
As long as they win in the playoffs.
I know.
The Yankees, for all the talk of they're running it back, the Yankees won 90-plus games last year. Their problem is they can't break through.
This has been our motto, our theme the last few years. It's great starts, great first halves, and then we just slowly wither away down the stretch.
I truly think that there's nothing the Yankees can do in the regular season that will prove, and not only me, but their fans will make their fans.
Correct.
You can enjoy it. And obviously, sports is about enjoyment, first of all. You should enjoy 162 games of your team being good, if that's the case. Not to poo-poo on that. But there's really nothing that they can do differently from what they've done. They've always been good at the regular season. They always make the playoffs.
Nothing would get me to the point where we're going to the World Series.
No, I think, Cole comes back and looks like Cy Young Cole, and you have Fried and Schlittler healthy.
Sure.
And Rodon. That is formidable, except for Rodon in the playoffs.
You have to prepare for the contingencies of Giancarlo Stanton likely getting hurt at some point.
Probably
our bottom of the lineup guy is going to delay. Ryan McMahon's hitting his age right now. Volpe's going to come back, which is going to actually hurt us.
Yeah.
I'm worried about some of the guys at the bottom of the lineup. Wells can't hit. So, there are definitely plenty of grievances still to have with this team and concerns that will potentially show up in the postseason. But I'm excited now.
I always think, and this is just, I've said this for a while, and it's been my take on the Yankees. I don't really think I've said it here, but, it's just what we're saying. This team is built to win in the regular season every single year.
Yes.
This team is built to win over this course of 100.
They get on base and they hit home runs.
And then they get into the playoffs and they play really good pitching, guys who can strike you out, and they strike out and they lose.
They don't make contact.
Yes. And that's how they're built, and that's how they've always been built. It's how they've been built for the last 5 years. And they have not changed the DNA of the team at all. And then they say, well, we won 90 games. But then it's but what happened at the end of the year? And nothing changes.
Yes.
And we live in this perpetual cycle.
It's like Groundhog's Day every year.
So we'll see at the end of the year.
We will.
But right now, they look great.
I'm excited, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
There's no taking away from that. Now, an actual Rodon, no. He is delayed.
Yes.
His recovery, because he has hamstring tightness.
Yep.
I don't know who could have seen that coming.
You don't know?
Not sure who could have thought that was coming.
No? Okay.
I always say, I did say that could happen, potentially. Not the hamstring tightness, but delayed. This is what happened with any pitching staff. Cole seems to actually be on pace, which is good.
He's ahead of the curve.
And you'd rather him be on pace. Pitching injuries in general, it's always like he'll be back in June, and then it's August, and it's like, where is
never
this
be
guy?
Sure.
And they have like, hey, his hamstring was a little tight. I think it's going to be 2 more months. So they did say they're not sure if it's going to interrupt his throwing program. So he could be back earlier. And if he is back, their rotation will be great. They've got 3 pitchers who have shown that they can do it in the postseason, and Carlos Rodon. Anyway, moving on. The Red Sox.
Leave that one alone.
Wish we had Brian Rudman here today.
Oof. I think he's happy to be out.
I think he's happy to be out because actually, now that I'm looking at it, these last 2 topics would be an absolute doozy for our boy Rudman. Because wait until we get to the Jets. Yes, whatever you're thinking, Jets on April 3rd, you betcha. The Red Sox, though, have been really bad.
Yeah.
They are 1-5. Swept by the Astros. They haven't really looked competitive.
You do need to hit the ball in baseball, the last I checked, and they don't seem to be built to do that.
No, they've scored 3 runs in a win, 5 runs was their most. 2, 1, 2, 4. 2 of those runs were late in the game when they were out of it.
Caleb Durbin, 0 for 18 on the season.
0 for 18. Again, it is early. I'm going to say that a lot for baseball. It is early. But it is concerning. I think when you have a guy who's 0 for 18, they're not going to go 0 for 100, you'd hope. He'll start hitting at some point to some degree. But I think the hitting is concerning. What might be more concerning to me, if I'm a Red Sox fan, is the wondrous Craig Breslow, who got rid of Devers and then got Bregman and then didn't re-sign him, has built this team on pitching and defense. And they haven't pitched or played defense.
Nope.
Their defense has been terrible. Roman Anthony is a great hitter. The man can't throw.
I saw that.
Which maybe he's got like something mental going on, like the yips or something. I don't know, but like his throws have been pretty bad. Crochet wasn't great his last time out. You don't expect that to be the case.
He's the only reliable guy they've got in there right now.
In their rotation?
In their rotation, yeah.
I don't know if I agree with that for the most part. I think they've been bad.
Ranger Suarez.
But Ranger Suarez...
He should be okay.
Ranger Suarez was very good last year with the Phillies. And got paid a lot of money. And he was not good in the WBC, and he was not good in his first start for the Red Sox. But, I mean, if he was 12-8 last year with a 3.2 ERA, 3.4 the year before, he should be a reliable starter. I know you don't like Sonny Gray.
I don't believe in Sonny Gray.
I
Not
know
even
you
just
don't.
on a personal level.
You have a beef with Sonny Gray because of the Yankees. I get that. But for the most part, he's been a good pitcher in his career. Just not with the Yankees because they couldn't harness it.
Or because he couldn't pitch in the Bronx.
Brian Bayo is also, has been a good starter. Not a great starter. He has been a good starter. He had 3.35 ERA last year. So all those guys were just not great their first time through, which is obviously not encouraging. But like they built this thing based off the fact that they were going to get really good pitching and play good defense, and they have gotten neither. That's a problem.
And their bullpen's
Coupled
not
with
great
the
either.
fact that you can't hit.
No.
And the bullpen has struggled. And it's been pretty much an abstract disaster for them so far. Now,
Darn.
early, who do they play? They play San Diego. Not the easiest of matchups, but plenty of time to get it rolling. As bad as I feel about the Mets right now, which is not bad long term, it's just frustrated.
You could be a Red Sox fan.
Could be watching the Red Sox right now. And we have Red Sox fans in this office like Brian Rudman, and it does not look fun. We're going to talk Jets real quick when we come back. right, welcome back to 10 for 10. We're going to do this real quick on the New York Jets. It is our Aaron Glenn soundbite of the week. The man can't get out of his own way. He said that Geno Smith, he believes, is going to take them to the promised land.
How about that?
If the promised land is a first overall pick, if the promised land is Arch Manning, I think he's the man for the job.
Something now.
If you mean a Super Bowl, that it's just like, why do you say these things?
You don't need. You could just sit there.
You could just say, like, he's a guy that we believe in, and we think he can get the job done for us. That does the same thing, Aaron. You don't put away the bravado, and you don't have to be like this soundbite. I feel like he thinks it's like a soundbite machine, and the machine is broken. We've reached the promised land on 10 for 10. We have gone 10 for 10. We'll see you next week.